Hi everyone, this is Mix from Sneaks and Ball PH, and today we have a quick look and unboxing on the New Balance Kawhi 4 Bounces. To start things off, at first when I got this shoe, I was very bitter because I am a Philadelphia 76ers fan, and we all know what happened in last year's Eastern Conference semifinals, where, he hit the luckiest ass shot ever. So that always hurts. But would you look at that? Karma just struck Kawhi and the Clippers, and they lost the 3-1 lead to the Denver Nuggets. So you might say that I'm a little bit happier this week. So we do have the New Balance Kawhi signature shoe with us right now, and this is actually his first, official signature with the brand, because of course he was using the New Balance Omnis last season, but that technically wasn't his signature shoe. It was sort of New Balance's shoe that Kawhi just happened to wear, which is why it was just called the New Balance Omnis and pretty much just had New Balance branding all throughout. When New Balance and Kawhi unveiled this in February this year, I was actually pretty excited from a performance basketball point of view, because the New Balance Omnis were actually quite a beast on court. On a side note, I haven't been able to performance test them thoroughly, and I haven't been able to shoot, basketball clips and whatever because of this whole pandemic situation, but soon enough, just fingers crossed. But anyway, with that out of the way, let's get into the unboxing. So thankfully, New Balance actually decided to make a special box for the Kawhi. So instead of having your traditional New Balance box, you have this predominantly white box that has a black New Balance logo as well as a gold Kawhi signature here on the lid. For the main body of the box, you do have this earthquake-like pattern, because coincidentally, when Kawhi signed with the LA Clippers, there was an earthquake that rocked Los Angeles, so it's kind of paying tribute to that. Then you do have New Balance basketball branding here on both sides of the box, and then here on this side, you have your sizing and colorway information. Then lastly, you do have some text here at the front of the box that says "Game speaks for itself," and this is just to show that, this is really Kawhi's shoe, because Kawhi doesn't really say much. So now, time to take a peek at the shoes. So opening up the box, here you have, actually under the lid, it says New Balance Kawhi signature. And right off the bat, I can feel that it's quite a bit heavier than the Omnis, but we'll talk about that a little bit more later. And then here you have your right shoe, and just getting this. So here you have it, guys. This is the New Balance Kawhi 4 Bounces. So just a few quick tech specs on the New Balance Kawhi. For the outsole, it does have translucent rubber all throughout, and then the pattern on the outsole actually kind of looks like how the crazy explosives traction used to look, but New Balance claims that this is from an earthquake map. I did try these out at home and they did seem to grip pretty well. However, it didn't seem as grippy as the New Balance Omnis, but you never know, it might just need some breaking in, so I will definitely try and take these out for a spin on court whenever the courts open back up. The rubber grooves do feel a little bit on the softer side, but they are very deep grooves. And this will probably make it okay for outdoor use, however, it definitely won't be the most durable. Then lastly, for the traction, you do have a little bit of herringbone that runs from the tip of the toe to the lateral edge of the outsole. I think this is there just to give it a little bit more grip, especially on toe-offs and very quick lateral movements. Then for the cushion, once again, New Balance is using their fuel cell foam, which is the same foam that they used on the New Balance Omnis, and is a foam that they use quite often in the running shoes. The fuel cell foam provides a really comfortable ride, and it is quite a bit thicker than the New Balance Omnis. This means that court feel isn't gonna be as good as the Omnis, but it'll definitely have a lot more impact protection. And then here at the back, the massive heel counter actually dips down into the cushion just to make it feel a lot more stable. So with the cushion on the New Balance Kawhi, what you get is quite a lot of impact protection while still having some court feel, but also some comfort and stability. The only downsides to the cushion would be that it does feel pretty heavy because this is such a thick fuel cell midsole, and it also doesn't have that much bounce back, so you have a pretty subdued feeling underfoot. Then for the materials with the New Balance Kawhi, the material choices were pretty interesting. So here at the tip of the toe all the way to the medial side of the forefoot, you have this synthetic alligator skin leather. Then for some additional durability, you do have quite a bit of fuse here on the forefoot, which kind of wraps from the medial side of the forefoot all the way to the lateral side. This fuse is a little bit thicker than what I'm accustomed to seeing nowadays, but it still is pretty soft and moves well with your feet, so it really doesn't have any issues there. Then for the rest of the shoe, it has this pretty thick and pretty rough mesh. And I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty disappointed when I saw this material on the shoe because I really love the materials on the Omnis, which does feel a little bit more premium than the ones on the Kawhi. However, the mesh on the New Balance Kawhi definitely will get the job done. Then here on the midfoot panels, here on the lateral and medial side as well as the tongue, you have this neoprene that's overlain with a lot of heavy stitching. Then here at the top of the tongue, you do have a very puffy neoprene. Then here at the back, you have this very beefy and substantial heel counter. And this is definitely one of the more aggressive heel counters that you can find on the market. Then lastly, you do have some flat laces as well as a neoprene sock liner. The neoprene sock liner is pretty comfortable, however, it's a lot less padded than what I usually like. Then for fit and sizing, I was actually forced to go true to size. When I went to the New Balance store, I wanted to try out both the 9.5 and the size 10, but they didn't have any more 9.5s available, so I had to settle for the size 10. The New Balance Kawhi definitely fits a little bit long, and there's also one additional caveat that it's kind of like the LeBron 17 low because it is a one booty upper, but it really doesn't stretch at all, which is very annoying. It's really hard to get your foot inside the shoe, even though this shoe that I have fits half a size long for me. So my recommendation would be that if you want a perfect one-to-one fit, if you have a narrow foot or a normal width foot, then go down half a size. Then if you have a wide foot, I would recommend going true to size. But if you have a super wide foot, then I would recommend going up half a size, because even though the shoe fits long, it is a little bit on the narrower side. Then for the aesthetic details, you do have that translucent outsole with that earthquake map pattern. And then underneath that, you do have this gold torsional support piece with the large New Balance logo here on the middle. Then here on the midsole, that fuel cell foam is in this white. And then you have some fuel cell branding here on the medial side of the midfoot. Then for the upper, it does have that blue, black, and gold color scheme. And for the black details, you do have that synthetic leather here on the toe as well as the ankle collar. And as I mentioned earlier, that synthetic leather has this alligator skin texture to it. And then a cute little detail here on the lateral side of that leather is that you have this braid pattern, which is probably a symbolism of Kawhi's cornrows. Then you also have black here on the fuse in the forefoot and black on the mesh that's pretty much all throughout the shoe. Then for the blue details, you do have blue here on the neoprene on the midfoot panels on the lateral and medial side. Then you also have that blue neoprene here on the tongue. Then on the blue neoprene panels, it does have that heavy black stitching, which has that earthquake map design. Then also in blue, you have that really chunky heel counter. It definitely is a very large heel counter, and you actually have a large New Balance logo here as well, and it pops out quite a bit, giving you a 3D look. Then for the gold details on the shoe, here on the lateral side of the forefoot, you have this gold triangular fuse. Then here at the base of the lacing, you have this patch that's gold with Kawhi's number 2. You also have this Kawhi logo here on the puffy neoprene tongue, and it's actually quite an interesting logo because it's like this K in a box with a small number 2 on top. And I don't know, it just really gives me periodic table of element vibes. So that's pretty quirky. And then you also have those gold metal grommets here on the top eyelet and the gold Kawhi signature here at the heel. Then here on the tongue, you actually have this small patch that has Kawhi's achievements. So it says here 4-time All-Star, 2-time champion, 2-time Finals MVP, and 2-time Defensive Player of the Year. But, you know, no more Finals MVPs for him in 2020, so not sorry, Kawhi. Then lastly, here on the insole, it says New Balance Kawhi Signature with a gold Kawhi signature as well. Then for the overall aesthetics, the New Balance Kawhi does look pretty decent. It's definitely not a bad looking shoe, but it isn't on the top of my list as well. Because honestly, I do like the aesthetics on the New Balance Omnis quite a bit more than these. But for the positives, I do love that translucent outsole that shows off that gold torsional support. I also love the gold accents here on the lateral side of the forefoot, on the top eyelet, and that signature at the back. And I also really like this very exaggerated heel counter with that 3D New Balance logo at the back. Then for the things I don't like in terms of the overall aesthetic of the shoe, I've never liked the fuel cell branding because it's just a basic font and the font size is pretty big. And then I'm also not that big of a fan of the fake alligator skin that they use throughout the shoe. Then for the last thing, I just really don't like the top of the tongue because the puffy neoprene is pretty much the only puffy thing in the shoe and it kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. And then to make matters worse, this Kawhi logo here on the tongue looks like a misrepresented element from the periodic table of elements, so I don't like that either. But as I said a while ago, these are pretty decent. But of course, that is just my opinion, so please sound off in the comment section down below if you like how these look and if you like this 4 bounces colorway in particular. Then for the price, the New Balance Kawhi retailed for 8,545 pesos here in the Philippines or $160 US. This actually feels kind of strange because I like the New Balance Omnis a lot more, and that was around $20 cheaper than these. And then for its $160 price tag, I do feel like this mesh is pretty cheap. However, if you do want wanna grab yourself a pair, these are no longer available at any of the New Balance stores. Because like I said, they made this super limited and I really don't agree with that way of marketing this shoe. But there definitely should be more colorways soon, so just keep yourself updated through the New Balance Facebook or the New Balance website. So there you have it guys, that was my quick look and unboxing on the New Balance Kawhi 4 Bounces. If you liked the video, please make sure to leave a thumbs up down below. Then if you have any comments, questions, or any suggestions for any future videos, please feel free to leave them in the comment section down below as well. If you haven't already yet, please make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon for notifications. It would help us out a lot here at Sneaks and Ball PH.